So welcome again to the Professional Hub by MME. I'm here again with Kharen Kaleda from Avant-Garde Business Services. We were talking to Kharen recently about tax planning before the end of the financial year. And today we're going to be talking about cash flow and how to improve cash flow in your business. So this is a key topic at the moment, particularly for those of us who are experiencing some downturn in business over the period of this COVID crisis. So yeah, just some really good tips on what you can do to improve your cash flow and make sure that you last for the long term and you're there for the long haul. So welcome again, Kharen.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so cash flow, it's all about cash flow, isn't it? In a recession, that's what we've got to think about. We've got to think about how we can minimize our expenditure and ensure that we've got the money to, keep our employees employed, etc., etc. So, what are our options? What should we be looking into to manage and improve that cash flow?
Okay, this is not only in hard times, but it's really come to light during the COVID pandemic. But all businesses should really know their numbers. So that means knowing how much your customers or your clients owe to you, how much your profit is, what money is expected to come in over the coming weeks or months, and what bills you have to pay. So first, knowing those numbers actually improves cash flow itself, because you tend to really keep a closer eye on things. We recommend that our clients use Xero accounting software. Then we can see how they're going as well and give them advice in real time. So also setting budgets in Xero and things like that, so you compare how you were going to how you expected to go for the year. I'm sure that everyone's budgets are probably thrown out at the moment, but still knowing, are you going to get to the end of the year with a profit or not, is really valuable. But there's some things, once you know those numbers, you can do to improve the actual cash flow.
And how often would you recommend, monitoring, what's in the bank? Are we talking a daily, exercise?
Depends on the business.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does depend on the business. I think a business owner should look at these things every week.
Yeah.
You may have a bookkeeper that's doing the coding up for you and entering all the transactions, but at least once a week, a business owner should know where they're at. Some businesses that are much higher cash flow can check in once a month. We then, for our clients, generally do a quarterly report, so that both our team and the clients look at their quarterly figures. That'll have some little accounting adjustments in it, as well as just what they've put into their software.
Yeah.
So you should know how much is in the bank. And if you're using a product like Xero, there's others out there. If you're using that, the bank feeds in overnight all the transactions from the previous day.
Yeah, fantastic. Actually, it's advice. It's fantastic advice. And 14 years ago, when we were setting up MME, I spoke to the director of a multi-million-dollar enterprise, and he said to me, best advice I can give you is just check your bank account, know what's in your bank account. And he said daily, do it daily, because he knows exactly, in his multi-million-dollar business, how much he's got. So it's very, very good advice.
We've found during these times is that even the clients of ours that have continued on, we have a lot of tradie clients, and they're out doing their jobs, and people are fixing up their homes because everyone's working from home. So even though their invoicing may be just as good as it has been in the past, quite often they're not getting paid as fast. So cash flow's down, even though profit may be similar. So even in our business, we've found that our receivables has almost doubled over this time.
Wow.
So you've got to be onto that, but also you have to be wary that other businesses are also in trouble, and it's better to be paid than for the clients to be in trouble. So it's about having some flexible payment arrangements, but you need to know when that money might come in so that you can actually balance your cash flow.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, you can set up notifications, can't you, in your bank to say, you know, when you've received a payment and things. I know that I get notifications too, just to, you know, it's just nice to see. And
Yep. Absolutely. And how easy is it now when you have your bank on your phone and you can transfer money around? It takes a couple of seconds, you can check the bank account.
Yeah, yeah, great. Okay. So knowing your numbers, what else can we do?
Just as it's great to have a phone that you can just check your app and your bank account, you find that lots of things are now pay by the month. You sign up for a subscription, it could be a publication, it could be a newspaper, all those sort of things. You sign up and it comes out every month, and you almost automatically code it in your software because it pre-fills if you've got rules. But are you using these services? Quite often you sign up for things years ago and then you find you might only use it now once a year, and is it worth that money you're spending on it? So review all of those regular direct debits that come out of your credit cards and out of your bank and say, am I still using these services? Do we need them? Or is there something that is now available for free or cheaper?
Yeah, and you know, that goes for us all personally as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. And there's all sorts of expenses that we used to be used to paying, and now you can get better deals on. There's a lot of competition around internet and phone providers, those sort of things that you can negotiate. Even the electricity bill, if you haven't done so, if you ring up your electricity company and tell them you're thinking of moving to someone else and you've had an offer, you can save up to 30% off your bill just with one phone call.
wow, yeah.
That's home and business.
Yeah. It's making the effort to do it, isn't it? You know, I think we all get caught up and don't realize, you know, that we're just sort of being taken for granted a little bit. Yeah. So, okay. You talked about negotiation of payment terms as well, which is a really handy tip.
Yeah. So a lot of the people that you pay and your suppliers have various terms down for payments, and they could be 7 days, it could be sometimes immediately on supply, and up to 28 days would be normal sort of payment terms. So depending on the industry you're in, depending on how your business operates, particularly in hard times, some of those suppliers might be happy to give you a little bit longer rather than you being in arrears or overdue if you're struggling, but they'd like to know that you're going to pay. So some of those bigger providers that you're dealing with, it could be a good idea again to pick up the phone and ask them if they could give you more favourable payment terms, particularly if you've been a good customer of theirs over the years. But
Sure.
that really depends on your business type.
It does. And, you know, sometimes your customers don't pay forever. So actually, you know, to bring your your suppliers and your customers in line, it does make a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and we find a lot of small businesses, particularly the trade clients, might have a week or 2 weeks to pay for the supplies and materials on a house or on the jobs, and then they let their customers pay them whenever they get around to it. They're not very strict on holding them to their payment terms. So bringing those in line really helps cash flow.
Yeah, it's a good tip. Okay, what about debts and things? Obviously we've talked about renegotiating everything, and a lot of us personally have put on our deferrals on our mortgages, at this time, but actually, long term, what sort of things can we do?
At any time, exactly the same as with the electricity company, particularly with home mortgages. The interest rates have come down. New mortgages can be really cheap at the moment, but everyone knows the hassle of applying for a mortgage, and it's a lot of paperwork. So you can actually pick up the phone and negotiate with your current provider. And depending on how long you've been with them, they can give you quite a good discount just for asking.
Yeah, okay.
So,
and that goes for business loans and things, doesn't it, as well?
yep. So just negotiate that. And sometimes you do have to bite the bullet and refinance. So to get a really good deal. But the interest rates at the moment are very cheap. So refinancing might be a bad idea to lock in a new agreement and freshen up your payments.
Yeah.
So then you could even stick with the same payments and pay that debt off faster. Or in some cases, it'll just improve cash flow by having lower repayments.
Yeah, repayments, yeah. And that could be on your car finance, it could be on business loans, it could be on, yeah.
Most of the car or equipment loans are fixed, so
Okay.
it's not harder to negotiate, but definitely on any sort of bank loans, particularly secured loans on your home.
On your home, okay. All right. And then you've talked about financing options for equipment. So this ties into our previous discussion about tax planning and the asset write-off. So
Exactly. But depending on what type of finance you get, you can actually claim up to the 150,000 of the equipment purchased this year as a tax deduction immediately, but you can finance that purchase.
Yeah.
So the interest component will be spread out over the life of that loan, but the deduction for the equipment might be right up front, and also the GST. So that depends on what sort of finance you take out. So in the simplest of terms, if it's a loan, then the interest is claimable over the life of the loan and the equipment can be deducted now. If it's a lease, then those payments are the tax deduction.
Right, okay.
So again, check with your accountant on what the best type of finance is for your situation.
Yeah, definitely. You don't necessarily think that the asset write-off and those and financing are connected, but yeah, if it's something that you really need and but you can't afford it quite right now, think about that long term. Okay. What else can we do, Kharen? I think cash flow. I've already saved myself lots of money, but I want more.
Something that we recommend for all our clients is to have 2 business bank accounts. Now, this doesn't necessarily improve your cash flow as it improves your budgeting. So when the money comes in from a customer or a client, set aside a portion for the tax and the GST, and also set aside some of the money that's coming in for your employees' wages tax. So when that BAS hits, you're not scrambling looking for money to pay your BAS or negotiating with the ATO for the payment plan. You have the money right there in your GST account, in your BAS account, to make that payment. It also stops you from overspending. So you know that's not your money, it's the tax office money, so just put it aside.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. And with PAYG, just at the moment, because there's been some kind of leeway given by the tax office on PAYG, where do we stand with that?
Are we talking about cash flow boost?
Yeah, cash flow boost.
Right, so during the pandemic, the ATO is covering a percentage of your employees' wages tax. So you get that back. It's not taxable income. So that's an extra boost to your cash flow and can help you pay your BAS. So I think that a lot of businesses out there were surprised that they received a discount, let's say, on their BAS in the last quarter. So I'd continue to set aside the money for, say, the September BAS and others. I know a lot of businesses have negotiated with the tax office for their March and then probably will June BASs to not be paid until September. But that's going to be a massive bill when that comes forward. So you want to get on top of your bills or your payments and pay them as soon as you can, really.
Yeah.
So cash flow boost is a lot more technical, and we'd have to go into that for a client.
But is it extending beyond 30th of June?
Yeah.
It is.
So in the simplest of terms, if you're a quarterly BAS payer with quarterly wages payments, then you should receive half of what you did on your March BAS in June and September. So you've already received 50% of your cash flow boost, 25% of it will be on your June BAS and 25% on your September BAS.
Right. Yeah.
So great help for business in this time, really help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Anything else?
Just a tip for all businesses. The money that the business makes is not your money.
Oh.
Even if you're the only shareholder in a company, it's not your money until it's been paid to you. So keep your personal and your business finances separate. Don't be using your business ATM to do your grocery shopping and saying, that's all right, I'll just put it on my business loan account. One, it clutters up your accounting and makes your year-end accounting more expensive because your accountant has to sort through these things. But also, it clouds what money is owing to you, and then you have to pay back money at the end of the year or pay a dividend or a bonus to clear those loan accounts out. You're not allowed to borrow money from your company. And if you're caught out at the end of the year owing money to the company, you have to pay interest to your business, and you can't claim that interest in your personal tax return.
Okay.
So have two separate bank accounts. Even if you're struggling at the time, pay yourself a wage of a smaller amount. Have that regularly set up so that you know this is my money I've paid my wages tax on, and that's available for me to spend personally. And then there's the business money. The only way to get that money out of a company is to pay a dividend, wages, bonus, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get you to have a chat with my husband. No. I'm really joking.
Clients with different sticker dots on their credit cards.
Oh, really?
The business one. Don't say I accidentally used it, or the ATM card. So you have a red sticker saying this is business, only use it for business. Like,
Good,
so
good tip. Good
keep
tip.
them very separate.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great. Well, look, I think that you've given us an enormous amount of information there, some really great tips, and just even those practical tips that you can put into place straight away. So we really appreciate that, and certainly if you are wanting any information, again, this is very general, so Kharen will be able to have a chat with you about what you can do specifically for your business that's going to make your cash flow run better for the long term. And so please reach out to myself or to Kharen directly, again, putting this information in a visual format for you to access at any time, and that will go into the Professional Hub by MME. So thank you so much again for your time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Some really handy tips, and great strategies, and thank you for your insights.
Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Take care. Cheers.